Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG353. My name is Jamie. Today we have a purple Foxy list that you guys requested. I am shocked with how good it is. Honestly, it is very strong into the meta and strong in general. Let's just talk about these games right about now. First of all, if you want to like this video, you can do so. That's fine. If you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Let's talk about this matchup now. It's against Black Yellow Teach. This game is a lot of fun. I do remember we have a strong enough hand, no top end, but we do have Inazuma, which is what I'm going to call it throughout this game. I'm pretty sure that the character's name is Inazuma. Here anyway, we'll swing 6k into the Lafitte first. Sometimes you'll see a Teach redirect into their life to get the Lafitte off again, but this Teach does not do so, and we use the Inazuma ability to gain one rested Don. So now we are on our 5 Don turn. It would be really nice to pull into something big from our draw or from life. So for that reason, when our opponent swings into us, we were always going to take this one 8 into us, so we're definitely going to take that. And here we actually have a nice play to make. So we'll gain that rested Don with Inazuma. We'll swing 5 into our opponent and gain an active Don with Bonclay, and use the Nami to trash a card and filter out some more hand. Because the Bonclay gave us an active Don and made us 8 Don, we were able to use the Nami, and that Nami being on board as a blocker allows us to protect Inazuma as well, which is very useful for us, because not only is it that we want to keep it on board to ramp, but we also really want this to fulfill the Foxy Pirates ability that we have X amount of Foxy Pirates on the board. Anyway, we have a 10 Don turn, and on that turn we play out Porche -1 Don, search out an A cost, and you play out a Bonclay with the 3 cost. That ramped us up a Don, so we can play an 8 Don character, which is the A cost Foxy, draw 2, trash 1, and swing 5 into our opponent's leader. So far we are looking very, very good. You did notice the last turn our opponent used the Liberation to KO our whole board, which is a really cool tech card that I haven't seen Blackbird use, so interesting to see. Here they have a Vasco shot, so if we do want to swing into our opponent, then the best idea for us would be to swing with the Bonclay first, because that Bonclay is going to be rested 100% with their Vasco shot. That's exactly what happens, and they use it anyway, which is good for us. We play out the 7 cost Foxy, and we swing 5 into our opponent's leader, leaving 2 Don up for our what's it called? The Nor Beam Sword. Yes, you just saw my brain lagging and glitching there. Our opponent has a Van Ogre and has that guy on the board as well, the Shiryu that activated main on turn. You're allowed to KO a character. They use the Van Ogre to KO the Bonclay, and they're on 10 Don, so it's either a yellow event or a trigger is what's going to come down here, or a yellow event or a 10 cost rather. So let's see what happens here. The 10 cost doesn't scare us all that much. The one thing that's sort of annoying is that our A cost can only rest 9 cost characters, so we can't rest the 10 cost. Our opponent swings 5 into our life, and we consider what to do here. We do have 2 Don up, and we could have countered out some of those swings earlier. The reason we didn't is because we want to save the Beam Sword so that we can rest one of their blockers, which is definitely smart. I do believe so. Here we play out another 7 cost Foxy, and we freeze 2 bodies. We freeze the Shiryu and we freeze the Van Ogre. We swing 5 first. Our opponent gives us counter. The 7 they take, and we swing with Foxy again because they blocked, which was so good of them to do. Thank you very much, opponent. And we are able to not swing with the Foxy because it has been can't attacked and nullified this turn. But we're after pretty much freezing their whole board. Teach does not run rush cards, and their Van Ogre is minus 2,000 power, so they'd have to invest a lot to be able to swing with it, and it wouldn't be worth their time. They play out a Teach and set something to the top of their life. They can't do much else unless they want to play down a 1 cost, and they choose not to. We pull into a Borsalino, which I believe is really good in this deck, and I have been using it to good effect. The it's a strong blocker. It allows you to ramp, and you can restand it. Yeah, you can consider it like you could maybe use that other guy, Katakuri, instead. But I like that it has 7 Don. And also you're going to see something interesting with the card in this game here as well. Our opponent gets an unbelievable trigger from life. They get the Black Vortex, which allows you to nullify the effects of a character. And they can nullify my Foxy so that we can't actually freeze characters. So maybe we could have actually swung with Foxy earlier, but in all honesty I just did not expect that to happen. So yeah, just didn't expect that at all. Here I think we have 8 Don, so the Mamaragons in hand aren't actually going to be useful for us to be able to draw a card from that, but they are 1k counter. We also do have a Beam Sword, and our opponent gives us the perfect opportunity to use it, which is to counter 2k perfectly here and rest their attacking blocker. Now they can swing 5 into our life if they want, and they can. We have the blocker still active. So this was the interesting interaction here. So our opponent nullified our character's ability, and that is normally if your character is a blocker, it can't block. But the Borsellino ability is you -2 Don and you become a blocker. So they nullified that ability, but we were already a blocker. So the condition had been met, so we can use that as a blocker. Really cool, really cool. Here, what is going to happen is we swing 9 first, and our opponent... I actually missed what they did there, that's my bad. I think they got a trigger off life. They take the block for the next 9. Yes, they do. And if they redirect here, we'll go all in. If they give us counter, then we'll pivot. Yeah, they give us counter. Okay, so what we're going to do here now is definitely still swing, because there is a chance that they don't have a trigger card in life, so they can't redirect. But I think swinging 3 is the best line, and also using leader ability. Now, us using leader ability here, what's really good about it is, well, obviously we get to freeze 2 things, like that's so important, but also we get in range for Mamaragan. So now our Mamaragan's live. Unfortunately, the Borsellino effect couldn't be activated. Our opponent trashes the 6 King Fire Pistol card that the old BB used to use and doesn't find anything. I presume what they're looking for was a 10 cost each. Maybe that would allow them to play the game a little bit longer, but they don't find it. Like, we have 6k counter in hand, we have 3 Mamaragons that are live, so we draw 3 times as well. There was nothing our opponent could have done. They're also -2k across the board, and we froze 2 of their characters. We also have 3 life, so if they chose to go full into all our characters, we would have survived. I believe we would have survived anyway, and they would have had to turn a blocker sideways as well, so us having 2 attackers would have meant we won. So, go game 2, our opponent. Let's talk about this Black Yamato game here now. By the way, I know I said it already at the start, but Foxy's a really good deck, very strong. I really like this list as well. I think using Mamaragan is definitely advised. The 4-cost Nami is very useful because sometimes you can get bricked up. The 8-cost helps out a lot with that, but the 4-cost Nami is, one, a blocker that you can use cheaply, and also it allows you to, draw and trash. As I said, that is very useful for this deck. You have 2 searchers as well in Porche, and sometimes while playing this game I forgot that Porche was a searcher, and there was just a lot more value in it being a searcher than anything else. Here we played out the 7-cost on curve, very nice, and we just used the leader ability just to freeze their leader, that's all. We have 2 characters on board that will give us Arrested Don, and us minusing 3 Don and gaining 2 Don back here is pretty good, and the reason for that is because, one, we can Porche into the whatever he's called, the little chopper guy, and also next turn we we got very lucky there in all fairness to get the 8-cost up top, but it was basically a question of, do you want the -1 Don to freeze an opponent's leader, and of course you're going to say yes, so that's the option, and that's what we took. Gain Arrested Don, gain Arrested Don. There is actually, so what we do here is we only gain 2 extra Dons so that we keep the Mamaragan life, so that we can draw 2 cards with the Mamaragan if they choose to swing 5 in with the Kinemon. The reason we do that is because we want another big Foxy on the board. That'll be really useful for us. And also our big Foxy is 7 and an 8, so having 6 down is absolutely perfect for us, because it means that no matter what big Foxy we pull into, we can play it out. Something to consider. Mamaragan in this deck is really, really good. There is a video that I have in this video. There's a game I have in this video that doesn't show off the Mamaragan and that doesn't use Mamaragan, and I think it is a lesser list for all intents and purposes. Here we choose not to use the 7 cost. We choose instead to draw on trash and see what we can pick up from that. The reason is we have the 3 cost event in hand. Having that 3 cost event in hand means we can freeze pretty much everything that they have. At least the 2 Yamatos, we have 2 life still, and we can go aggressive into our opponent's life. Use card action here. We probably ramped up a little bit too much because we could still have used the Mamaragan. However, what you have to consider is we have the Foxy thingamajig. So we're going to be minus and 3 down again, because we're going to set our Foxy active again. We don't freeze our opponent's leader because it's already frozen, but we do freeze its Yamato. So here they have a 5k swing, is all they have access to. We do have a blocker up, and we also have a bunch of counter. Mamaragan is live, by the way. Here our opponent plays out a Momonosuke into a Yamato. Now that Yamato can't swing into us because it's only 4k unless they attach a Don to it, which maybe they won't, because keeping a Don up signals that they have counter. They swing 4 into 2 and they can have that. They did play over a Yamato, which is quite interesting actually. They haven't yet swung with the Kinemon, which I don't know why, to be honest. But they keep playing out the A-Cost Yam that allows them to spawn out a blocker, so the game is going on for a little while, which is fine. Like, definitely the right move from our opponent. You see here that we probably trashed, or we flew a little too close to the sun with the amount of Don we negated last turn. We could have used Inazuma to not get the Mamaragan effect, but to be able to ramp back up so that next turn we can play 7 Don. It didn't work out like that, unfortunately, but nothing too bad about it, because we have a Nor Beam Sword in hand that will be able to protect us from too many swings that our opponent may have. We also have 2 blockers on the board as well, so if they do use the unblockable, we have counter, which is good. Here we're just going to use the Beam Sword straight away, and we're going to freeze their Momonosuke to help us go for lethal next turn. If they play the unblockable, that will be 11k into our leader, and we have all the counter ready for that, so that's fine. That would be no problem at all. They play out a Momonosuke though, and that is going to go into another Yam. That Yamato will probably spawn out an unblockable, I'd be guessing. And it's actually coming to a stage now in the game where it could be that we kind of want to wrap it up, you know, because we might be running out of legs, like if our opponent can consistently trash through their life and such, because they're constantly spawning back out blockers. So now they have 3 blockers up again, and they're able to rush into us with a 7. We just give them the blocker there because most likely we want to play out a character from hand here. The character of choice is the Foxy, and we gain back a bunch of rested Don with that, and use the action here to freeze 2 of their cards. And now we can rest the small blocker and go 9 into our opponent here, and hopefully they give us the Momo. They do, and we'll pass. So here we still have a bunch of counter. I think it's 11k counter in hand with 1 life. Our opponent there only has 1 swinger that's really active, and we have a blocker for that swinger. If they play out an unblockable, then we will be able to counter out very easily, because their Yamatos now are only 6,000 power, because we have 2 7-cost Foxies on the board. Okay, so opponent swings 6, we counter for 2. Opponent does the same line, so they're going to play out that blocker again, which is yeah, that's their choice. And they have 3 Don left up, so they could go 9 into our life and we'd just take a block there. Or we could counter, I guess, and save the Nami for maybe we want to use counter. We got a bit annoyed. I'm only noticing the time here that it's our opponent has 4 minutes left and we have 11. So sorry if this game is going on a little bit, but our opponent makes a bit of a blunder at the end there. They use the Caribou out as a blocker, which makes you trash cards from hand, and it doesn't make you trash cards from the top of your deck. Maybe it was a deck building issue there. That being said, I did look at their trash beforehand, and so they would have had, I think it was a Caribou, a Yamato, and another 2k. So we still would have had it if we just put 2 7s at them. They would have had to given us a blocker and a counter, and then they would have to blocked, and then they would have had to block, and then we could have gone like, I think 8 and 9 for the finish. So good game to our opponent. This is our rapid fire one because it's just fun. As I mentioned in previous videos, I really like playing against Hanyabal, and this game is no different. We have the ideal start because we have Inazuma, and here we are going to ram some more. I did make a blunder in this game actually. When I first played out Inazuma, I didn't click activate Rested Dawn, so that is a bit annoying. The reason is we would have been able to curve into a 7-cost Foxy on that turn, which would have been very, very strong. We didn't, however, so that is what it is. And our opponent swings 5 into our life now. We'll take that. And here we are fortunate because we have the 8-cost Foxy in hand. Our opponent chooses to ramp an active down here. Maybe they're planning something mad, which is fine actually. Like it was probably, all intents and purposes, a good idea from them, because we were just going to rest it anyway, or freeze it anyway with our 8-cost. Since we didn't have need to put down an 8-cost just yet, we played out of Borsalino. That ramped us 2, and we -2 to get the blocker back. And now our opponent is going into their big Don play, which is the Kaido and Linden. Unfortunately, the 8-cost cannot freeze 10 costs. So what's going to happen here is we're just going to swing into our opponent's life. That's going to be 8. That's going to be 12 from bottom play. We were probably going to go like 8 and 9 with the Porche and 9 with the leader, and then gone 12 with the Bonclay. And you can see from their hand they only had 2k counter, so we actually would have got game there, which is funny because their hand was bricked up as well. Okay, so this is the game I mentioned earlier where we are not running Mamaragan. We're actually running the 1-cost Nor Beam event, which minuses 2k to your opponent's leader and one of their characters. It was a card I was using for the blue-green Luffy matchup, and also for this matchup, in all fairness, because Rosinante can go pretty wide, pretty easily. Here we have our opponent uses a 6-cost law. We just play down the blocker and swing 8, just asking them to give us a life, which they do. We leave 1 Don up for the event. We have 7 Don, we'll go to 9 next, so minusing 1 Don from the event is actually totally fine. We'd be happy to do it just to get the counter off, and here we use the event, so minus 2k there, minus 2k to their leader, and give them 1k, so we can get out of a 6k swing and a 7k swing for 2 cards, which is quite good. It would have been 3 cards otherwise, so positive trade for us. Now we are into our big body plays. We will either pick the 7-cost to minus power or the 8-cost to rest a card. Now because they didn't swing with leader last turn, there isn't much value for us in freezing the leader, in using the 8-cost, because we don't get double value with both of those effects. So that is one of the reasons why I cut that card, because if you negate the leader, then they're disincentivized to swing, which kind of goes against the idea of our whole deck, which gets to freeze a leader. Our opponent has a strong play there where they can play 2 4-costs on 1 turn. We make a big mistake here, and I just want to highlight that. We swing with Foxy first and then realize that we have 3 Don. We haven't actived our 3 Don. So really what would have been just to play out the A cost first and then rested stuff. So played the 3 cost A cost first, rested something, and then I would have been able to rest 2 of their characters. Now the way it worked out, we didn't get to do that, which is a shame. And what we did instead is rested nothing, which does make a huge impact into the tempo in the game. For example, imagine that our opponent right now doesn't have a leader swing, nor do they have a Rosine Law. Now you'll see me hover over concede there because I was pretty sure that's what we were going to do. I was pretty happy to concede there because it felt like a losing matchup, but I stuck with it and saw what happened afterwards. So yeah, our opponent had a 7k swing and a 9k swing and a 7k and a 9k swing where they normally wouldn't have, which is massive. We're on 0 life as opposed to maybe 2 life. Big difference to a game, definitely. We did also just get the most amazing top deck search from that Nami draw, Trash 1 draw 2. So maybe we're not too mad actually when you think about it, because we have here Foxy into the Foxy ability, freeze 2 characters, 1 leader. We save 3 Don standing for the Nor Beam Sword and the Nor Beam. Swing 9 into the Law because 1, it's either they'll give us a bunch of counter, 2, they'll either give us a life, or 3, they'll either give us the character. Now we wanted the character more than anything, but the other 2 options were pretty good, so we decided to swing into their character rather than anything else. Here our opponent gets one of those 4 cost laws and takes away our event and takes away 7k counter or 2k counter, which is just so annoying. Kind of like a perfect one there. I'm glad that they didn't get the beam sword in all fairness, but still it does hurt. They used the Sakazuki into our what's that guy called? Oh my god, I'm going blank. Into our Foxy A cost, and here we are considering how we can win. If we can win, how will it happen? We can definitely freeze 3 things, that's for sure. And I think it's best for us to swing with our leader than anything else. Also their 5 cost is only a 5 cost, like their 5 cost blocker isn't 6k where they can free block here, so that's pretty good. We have the Foxy event, so we freeze 2 of their bodies, and that means that they have 3 swingers now on board. We have 2 blockers and we have 4k counter in hand, and our opponent just kind of gets, like has the perfect counter really. Well, if they swung 9 they still would have had it, so yeah, good game to them. And I just want to point out the fact that this game would have been so different if we had even 1 life there. If we had 1 life there, then possibly we could have pulled into something more health, or more counter, or maybe if we had 2 life there, that was absolutely fine. If we had 1 life, they wouldn't have won actually, because we had 2 blockers. So just one small error. That was when I was just first playing Foxy, and I can't tell you the amount of games I had to rage quit in the first 2 turns or first 3 turns because I swung with Foxy, forgetting that the leader ability is when attacking. That is probably like the greatest skill gap of this deck, is just not doing that. It's just that one thing will make you such a good Foxy player. Here now, let's go into our final game of the matchup. I really grinded to get a Green Zoro game because I felt like Foxy would play so well into it, and our opponent, in all credit to them, was an excellent Zoro player. They played around the Foxy ability very well, so they were clearly a knowledgeable player of the game. We seen an Inazuma there, and normally we would pick the Inazuma up. Normally, always, to be honest. But our curve is different now. So what's going to happen is next turn we'll be on 5 Don. And here, this was like a debatable, alright? But we decided not to. And I rate that decision as well. So the curve is 5 Don turn, play a Bonclay to gain an active Don, and now we can ramp into the A cost. So having an A cost in hand was better than having Inazuma, because the Bonclay was going to help us ramp. Also, once we play the A cost out, we will be able to rest a character, and also draw 2 Trash 1 and have 3 Foxy Pirate characters on board. Here they use the Kuina and are able to swing into Bon Clay, which is a shame, and we have options here. So we'll swing 2 into Kuina first. We'll play with the Foxy to rest the Zoro. That'll be our first idea. Here we have a Porche, and we choose to trash it because it is a brick in our hand, and also we have our top end already, so we're kind of okay with not using that. The only thing here is we only have one character that can bring us back up and down. So we choose not to use the leader ability there. Maybe that would have been better to use leader ability because we would have still ramped into the 7 cost next turn, and we could have used the 7 cost then. But clearly we're putting more value into the 8 cost and having a Nor Beam Sword in our next turn. So that's part of the logic. Our opponent swings 7 into us, we get a Beam Sword, and they put down a 2 cost blocker. They still haven't swung leader. The reason they're not doing that is clearly they're waiting for a 3 cost event to come up, because once we freeze their leader, it's going to be perma-frozen for the game, especially in how late in the game we are now. So that is the reason they're not doing that. Here we rest the Zoro, and now we're going to start freezing stuff. There's an argument to be made that we could have rested the Law instead, but resting the Zoro is pretty useful because we can perma-freeze it, whereas normally it will go up, or it'll stand back up, you know. Here our opponent swings 5 into us, and we will give them a Beam Sword, return 1 down, and rest their blocker. And now, like, if they swing, we can protect their character, to be fair. 2, 4, yeah, a little bit, but we will be going down a lot in hand here because they can swing 7, restand, swing 12, or sorry, they can swing 12, restand, swing 12, and we actually choose to counter out again. Select a card to trash, we'll trash a 7 cost, and give them a 1k. And here they can restand 1 more time with the event. And the reason we countered out is because they have an actual decision to make when they restand with the event here. Because normally they will want to use the event to restand and stay standing, but now because they didn't, we can freeze them. So opponent like went super aggro and did get their reward in the end, but also it might not have been totally worth it for them, you know. So anyway, we have a Mamaragan, we have a Beam Sword, and a 2k. That's our situation at the moment. Our opponent has a Perona, and they're clearly looking for the 3 cost event, and they find it, so they can finally stand their leader back up for 3 down. And then it depends on how they want to swing from there on out. They can swing 10 into our Foxy and then keep it standing, or they can swing 10 into our Foxy and 10 into our leader. That being said, the 7 cost Foxy on the board at the moment is putting in work because they have to attach it on now with their 5 costs to be able to swing, which is great. That's really good. Here they go for a different line than what I was expecting, to be honest, and that is making swinging with the Zoro rather than swinging with anything else. We use the Beam Sword to go down to 6 down and use Mamaragan to draw another card, so really just ace of a turn there. And we gain back some rested Dawn. Play out the 8 cost, draw 2, trash 1. Might as well trash the Beam Sword because we're not going to have Dawn standing for it. And here I think clearing board is the best way to go about this next turn, because we can only freeze 1 card anyway. So 7 into 5 they take, 9 into 6 they take, and we'll swing 5, treat onto return, and freeze their leader and one of their characters. Now we do have to keep in mind that they do have a 3 cost event still in hand, so they can more than likely clear out one of our characters this turn. Here it is, so that is an 8k into probably the 7k character, or it's 10k into it, and we will actually let this go. The reason is because they probably will want to swing into our other character here, so keeping the 2k is better, and they swing 5 into our life and we'll give them counter for that. And now they have 1 card in life, so we have math really to win. We'll swing 7 at the start, they can't counter that. We'll swing 9, they can't counter that. and will swing 16. Of course, they can't counter that. Great game from our opponent. They definitely worked around Foxy very well. Really enjoyed playing that because there was a lot of mind games to go about. We were able to build our board consistently, freeze their leader well enough throughout the game, and denied their pressure with the 7-cost Foxy. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for commenting on this video. Foxy is a deck I've never ever played before. It took me some time getting used to, so I had to grind these games out. As you saw from the PY Rosinante game, I made a mistake and that cost me the game. But the other games then I was able to improve a lot, so I hope you guys are able to sort of improve with me. The deck list includes a Mamaragan now, which the PY Rosinante deck list didn't. The PY Rosinante gameplay, didn't have the Mamaragan. The Mamaragan is definitely the sweet spot. Really good to have in hand defensively more than anything, but you saw it come up offensively in that Yamato game as well. Everything else is standard Foxy stuff. Maybe the 4-cost Onami is a different pick, but it is really useful to be able to trash and draw, filter your hand. You saw in one of the games that we pulled into 2 of the best cards possible with that Onami, so it does come up. And here you saw me coming up against some of the better decks in the game and just being able to freeze everything, like everything. There was no discrimination, everything got frozen. I hope you enjoyed this anyway. If you liked it, do please leave a like. If you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And more than anything, I hope to see you in the next video. All the best. Thanks again. Bye now.